Let's talk about how fat is converted into energy, which is sometimes also called fat burning. There's two parts to this process. One is fat mobilization, and the second is fat oxidation or utilization. And that's a process called lipolysis. Fat cells can be visceral around our viscera, our organs, or they can be subcutaneous under our skin. Stored fat has two parts that are relevant here. It's got the fatty acid part, and that's the part that your body can use, and that's attached to something called glycerol, and they're linked by a backbone. To mobilize fat, you got to break the backbone between glycerol and these fatty acids, okay? That's accomplished by an enzyme called lipase, but you can forget all that if you want. Remember, we're just trying to mobilize fat. So the first step is to get those fatty acids moving around in the bloodstream, to get them out of those fat cells, and then they can travel and be used for energy. They're going to go into cells that can use them for energy. And once they are inside those cells, they're still not burned up. You need to oxidize them. They need to be moved into the mitochondria. And then they can be converted into ATP, into energy. So just to really zoom out again to make sure I don't lose anybody, you got to mobilize the fat, then you have to oxidize the fat. And many of the things that the nervous system can do is to increase the mobilization of fat, but also the oxidation of fat. So what are these neurons that connect to fat doing? What are they releasing exactly? How do they actually increase fat mobilization, and how do they increase fat oxidation, burning of fat? Well, there are a couple of things that they release that encourage that process. And the main one that you need to know about is epinephrine, or adrenaline. The conversion of these fatty acids into ATP in the mitochondria of cells is favored by adrenaline. Okay? And adrenaline is released from two sources. Adrenaline is released from the adrenal glands, which sit atop our kidneys in our lower back. And it's also released from the so-called sympathetic nervous system, although that name is a bit of a misnomer because it has nothing to do with sympathy. It has to do with stimulating alertness and promoting action of the body. It was thought for a long time that adrenaline swimming around in your body of when you're fasted, because fasting can increase adrenaline, or when you're engaging in intense exercise, or when you're stressed, is going to promote fat oxidation. That's actually not the case. The adrenaline that stimulates fat oxidation, the burning of fat, is coming from neurons that actually connect to the fat. It's a local process. And this is very important because it means that what you do, the specific patterns of movements, and the specific environment you create that can stimulate these particular neurons to activate fat, meaning to release fat, to mobilize it, and then to burn it, is going to be a powerful lever that you can use in order to increase fat loss.